Let's see. Do this by hand. It's going to be tedious. Let's see if we can do it via JavaScript. So one. We are it's as a column. Grid cell as a column. Yes. Actually, I can just look it up by ID, right? One column one. And we are going to create wait, what's the API again for creating an element? So bar inputs elements creates elements. And we're going to create input elements. And what we'll do is we'll do a loop, right? Yeah. Not really familiar with JavaScript loops, but let's see. So, equals 4. Let's put in a function. Function create elements. I just want to see if we can get this to alright. Wait a second. Yeah. And once we create elements, we have to append it. Put in this loop. Let cell1 dot append elements. And we'll do that 5 times. See if that works. And then we'll remove this first. So alright. So let's try to call that function. See what happens. Let's try to call that console. Oh, unexpected token. Unexpected token. And the CSS. Is there an issue with the CSS or JavaScript? Yeah, looks like there's an issue with the CSS. What token are they talking about? Looks okay to me. Well, if it's not an issue with the JavaScript, I think we can still use a console, JavaScript console to debug. So, what was the function called again? Create elements. Create input elements. So let's call it create inputs. What? It's not defined. Do we link our JavaScript correctly? Oh, JS. Alright, let's try refresh. Alright. Syntax error, missing semicolon after for loop initializer. I probably got the syntax wrong. Let's see. Yeah, it looks a bit iffy. Alright. Create input elements. Bam. Whoo, the function works. It each of these input elements dynamically, rather than us having to input them or hand type them manually one by one. So that'll save us some time. This one. Let's see if we can get the function to create those input elements for each grid cell automatically. Let me just separate these out first. I guess I could get JavaScript to create these grid cell elements for us too. This is kind of tedious. Hold on, before we go further, let me commit this just in case something happens. Created functions. I haven't completely fleshed out the function, but we got the gist of it down. So let's see. I wonder. Let's see. Bar. I wonder if we can get each grid cell as an array, or get an array with all the grid cells. That way we can iterate through each grid cell and add an input element in each. Yeah, let's see that. Let's try it out on the inspector tool in the web dev tools. I want to try so we have main. But we don't need the grid cells after the headings. So what we really want to select is just the grid div elements with the class attribute of grid cell. Yeah, let's write that. Grid remaining grid cells equals let's try all. We'll probably get an array. I don't know what they call it in JavaScript. Actually, I'm not even familiar with JavaScript arrays. JavaScript arrays. All right. Where are we? And we're gonna get grid cell. And see what we get. Yep. So we get an array of grid cells. What's this? What's the length actually? We should have. How can I expand this? Oh, sweet. Length is 49. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, we really only need. Shoot, we really only need. No, we do need all of them. Yeah. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 times 7, 49. That makes sense. All right. So let's add that into our JavaScript. Our main grid cells. Query selector all, and we're grabbing the remaining grid cells. Yeah, grid cell. And once we grab the remaining grid cells, we're gonna iterate. Yeah, we're gonna iterate through each. So remaining grid cells dot for each, and we pass a callback function. For each callback, for each element in the array, we want to call this function. But this callback function has to take 3 arguments. Elements, which is going to be the grid cell. Oh, okay, so create input elements, right? And so 3 arguments that we have to pass to this function is the elements, which is the grid cell, but we just need the grid cell. Okay, I think I got it. Grid cell, parents. Yep. I got it. So we're going to do grid cell. That's what we'll call it. And we'll call the key grid key. And then we'll just call the parents array, or the array that we're passing in. Alright. And then this callback, I have to modify this callback to wait a second. Oh. Yeah, I could just define it in here. So what we're going to do is for 0, less than, what am I doing? Let me just copy this. So alright, so what is this? Oh, wait, what? That doesn't make any sense. Alright, let's see if this works. Let's see if it gets created dynamically. Let's see, did I? Okay. Alright, here we go. Nope. Missing after argument list. Missing closing parentheses after argument list. Oh yeah, that's right. Is it? Wait. For each. Oh. Like what? Oh. Wait, no. Just Unexpected token. Let's see. Unexpected token. Oh. This is the function. So we gotta close this one up. What are we missing after argument? Let's oh. That's because I'm calling this function. But this function is no longer defined. What we mean to say is this is an anonymous function. Expected expression, we got change this to array. Oh, that closes the so this closing brace closes this for loop, but I need another closing brace to close this function body. So I'll add it to the next line. That's why I don't think I could ever program in Lisp, keeping track of all the parens. Not for me. Right. Let's see if this works. Bam! We created all the input elements rather than hand typing them one by one. But now we have a new problem. They're overflowing, I think. That's okay. I think we can then modify the width of this column. Might have to make this column slightly bigger. Let's see. And then we also have to give each input elements in each of these grid cells a unique ID. Um, Let me try to change the width first. Now let's not worry about the width right now. Let's just try to make sure each input element is tagged correctly. So if we inspect each input element, we'll see they're just labeled input. Yeah. There's no other attributes on these input elements like ID or name or not that we really need to add those attributes, but would be nice to have. Yeah. Yeah, I like to give them a unique ID. So let's work on that. And grid key is going to give us the column. Oh no, the index. Yeah, the index for each grid cell. So if each grid cell is numbered for us using the index, let's see, grid cell. do we'll make some strings, right? Yeah, we'll make some strings. So var id grid, no, input id will equal row plus in each row and we'll just do a grid key. No, why not? Yeah, why not just name it grid key, right? No, name it this grid cell. Grid key and plus the row or input row plus I. And then we'll set the attribute to input ID. Right? That makes sense. Let's see. Let's check out random inputs. Let's see what we got. Yep, ID grid cell 1, input row 2, 1, 2. All right, perfect. Let's pick another random one. Let's do this one. Grid cell 9, input row 0. Got 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Nope. Oh, wait, it's a 0. The array is 0 based. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Is that right? Yeah. So this grid cell 0. Alright, yeah. This one, grid cell 0, input row 4. Alright, so we have each input element appropriately labeled or tagged as far as the class attribute is concerned. And we did it dynamically. We didn't have to type it all by hand. Let's look at the let me commit that. That's an important commit. Further defines Too late for me to call the diff because I already committed it. Let's see. Next step. Next step. I really want to change the width of that. I think the really challenging part is going to be adding the calculations so that when input is entered, calculations will automatically be executing. Let me change the width first of this column. It's bothering me. We'll change it dynamically. Make sure to do it last. Percent to P. Percent to P column. I'm going to need all the input elements in that column, or I can just control the width of that column, right? Yeah. And I can call that actually we can control the width. We don't need to do it dynamically. If we control the width of the parent column, then the width of the input elements will follow. Where is it? Main. Oh, we've actually already specified the width of the columns in this declaration here, so it's fixed. I don't think there's a way to just affect the width of this specific column. Yeah, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. So let's see. This column is alright. We're gonna add an ID to that, and we're gonna change it. So we won't have to do that dynamically, I don't think. Or maybe we will. Or we can. Let's try it out. It's going to be this one here. I'm just going to add. Just going to add an ID. Percent to P column. set to P right, and then add an attribute. So we can style it. Set. I'm going to make the max width, say 5 pixels. Actually, we'll make it 10 pixels. Let's see. No, we don't need to make a function for it. Yeah. See what happens. So it only affected that. Alright. So how do we affect all of the columns? So the grid elements aren't actually changing with the parent container. As you can see here, it didn't adjust itself to fit accordingly. We might have to revamp the whole table. Let's see. You see how we're adjusting the browser window, and it changes the width of the parent container, but the grid cells are fixed. I mean, it's responsive. Just doesn't respond the way we want it to. So gotta familiarize myself with grid CSS more. I don't think we need a border for the parent container after this. So for every 6 grid cell, we have to change the width. Thinking we can add. Let me see. Let me try to make this. See how 20 pixels looks. Yeah, 20 pixels is a bit better. So for every 6 grid cell, we're gonna change the width. Percent P grid cells. Percent P grid cells will equal. Now we don't really need to create a function. I'll have to make a note of that. Look up docs, JavaScript docs, to find out how to create an array. Sure, there's an easy way. Just not familiar with JavaScript enough to do that right now. So instead of creating a new function, we'll just put the logic in this function. And what we're doing is we're adding an extra we're adding another class attribute. So we'll do if grid cell, if grid key mod 6 is equal to 0, that means it's every 6th grid cell. If it's every 6th grid cell, we want to add do this logic as well as add another class attribute so we can specifically target it using CSS. We'll add this after. Before we append it, Yeah, before we append it. Yeah, before we append it, we want to check to see if we're in, if we have a grid cell in that column. And if not, then we just append the input elements. So we add our set attribute. If it already has an attribute, is it going to add onto that attribute? I don't want to declare any existing values for that attribute. I'll have to look into that. Note to self. Note to self. Double check JS docs if calling set attributes or overwrites any existing values for set attribute. But I don't think we have a class attribute for each. We have an ID attribute. Let's see. Pick a random input element. Yeah, so we have an ID attribute, but no class attribute. So just looking to style the last column. So I'm gonna add this set attribute. Oh, we gotta make a string. No, we could add. We could say class percent to p column. Yeah, percent to p column. So we're adding this. Oh, wait a second. Where am I? Oh. Alright, so we're going to change this to a class. So because we changed it to a class, I have to change this. Percent. Oh wait, no, it's not the grid cell that we want to add an attribute on. It's the input element. Ooh, that was close. So let's double check that before we actually execute that. Many grid cells, right? So I'm gonna try to for each. Let's see what we have. So it's gonna tag the first column. Alright, so we have the math slightly wrong. Let's see. It's 0 based, right? What is this? Why does this have a class of grid cell acid column? Did we type that in manually? Oh, that's right. Every 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's the 7th column. Why do we do 6? Because I miscounted. Let's try it again. Let's see if I select the right ones. So, well, it's off by 1 because it's 0 based. All right, instead of doing mod, we'll just divide. Clearly, I don't understand mod yet. I'll have to review. What if we do Wow. It shouldn't be that difficult. Four, five, six, seven. It's a simple math problem. How do we select every grid cell, every seventh grid cell? We mod it, right? We can mod it, and if it's divisible by seventh, it's every seventh, right? But if it's zero based, how does that affect it? I don't know, let's try mod 8. Nope, now it's going the other way. Looking at the index, right? Oh. What grid key are we getting? Is the grid key starting at 0 or 1? It's a good thing we're testing this out now. Console log grid key. So it's 0 based. Yeah, I mean 0 mod 7 is 0. What about mod 6? 0 divided by 6. 6 divided by 6. Here's divided by 6. Let's try that. Grid key divided by 6. Let's try that. We only get one. Which one do we get? Alright, so we get that one. Why did it only log that one? We want to log all the grid cells. Oh, that's why. Because 12 divided by 6 is not equal to 1. Oh, equal to 0. Same problem we had last time. I'm gonna have to do +1 mod 7. I think that's the only. Finally! Ugh, that was horrible. Alright, so let's do that. Right. Grid key +1. Right. Mod 7. So if this works, each input element in every grid 7th grid cell should have a class attribute with this value. Let's see. Yeah, looks about right. Why is this? What's wrong with this one? see why this. So this has acid column. Let's take a look at our columns. Let's see. Oh, it's okay in this view, but if we expand it, get this. Why is that? Curious. 200. I'm going to change this just to make it a little bit bigger. What? Oh, it's gonna change the minimum. We want max. Max width to be 20 pixels. What's wrong with the width here? Why is it only the first column?